What is up, guys? This is Daniel from Engineer's Note. Today we're gonna take a look at the inverse matrix and how to get it. So the method we're gonna use to get the inverse of a matrix is called Gauss-Jordan method. So first thing first. So what is the inverse of a matrix? So let's say here we have 2 by 2 matrix, and then the inverse of A should have the same size as A, so this should be 2 by 2 as well, and only square matrices can have inverse matrices. Okay, and alright, let's say A multiplied by B, B multiplied by A, and if both two becomes the identity, in this case B is the inverse of A. This is the simple definition of inverse matrix. So if this holds, B is the inverse of A. And alright, the next, how to get an inverse, how to get the inverse matrix. So the only thing you need is an augmented matrix using A itself and the identity matrix here. And what you're going to do is Gaussian elimination. And normally we just stop here when you create 0 below the pivot. We stopped because we got an upper triangle matrix, but in this case we have to make it into the identity matrix. So we're going to create 0 also above the pivot. So after the first step, obviously the first pivot is 1 and the second pivot is here, because this one is the first non-zero component in the second row. So obviously this is the second pivot, and if you go one step further, using this pivot, if you subtract the second row multiplied by 3 from the first row, yeah, we get the identity matrix. And alright, so A transformed into the identity matrix. So, and if you do the same thing to the identity matrix first become this, and then it becomes what? And I insist this one is A inverse, the inverse of A. So I'm gonna tell you why this should be an inverse matrix. So we all learned about elementary matrices, and what elementary matrices do is raw operation, right? So every raw operation can be replaced by an elementary matrix. Okay, so if you multiply E1 in front of A, this becomes E1A, and also this becomes, and then we multiply by E2 in front of E1A, so we can say identity is E2 E1A, right? And we did the same thing to identity matrix, and so we can say E1 and E2 becomes this matrix, right? We got this, and this becomes E1I, and this becomes E2 E1I. So what is this matrix? So if we multiply by identity matrix, it becomes the same. It doesn't change at all. So we need to find out what this is. Okay, so here's the definition of an inverse matrix, and we got something multiplied by A, and it became the identity. So what does that mean? This one is the inverse matrix. Okay, so this one is the inverse matrix. So this is how you get the inverse of a matrix. Hope that helps. That's it for today. I hope to see you in the next video.